Give it a start.
Okay, I have 5 till, is that right?
No, my clock says 1 minute past.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, I'm sorry, I was looking at the thing. That's fine. It's hard to see, it's so small.
No worries.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
Let's rock and roll. Go ahead,
Tell me
Gary.
when we're live.
Yep,
okay.
We're live. Go ahead.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the webinar we have today. I just want to say thank you for MyOutDesk for being on this webinar, and we're going to talk a little bit about that partnership in just a minute. And we really are excited about this because this webinar is going to let agents know how to get more listings with a virtual assistant. And so we're really excited about that. Let me quickly talk about what we have going on with MyOutDesk. Well, my name is Gary Prado, and I'm the CEO of SalesDialers.com companies, and we've partnered with MyOutDesk to provide those virtual assistants with our solution and also another product we have called Agent Circle Prospecting. So it's we feel it's a win-win situation for everybody who signs up with MyOutDesk now, because the virtual assistants have tools to make more calls and do circle prospecting or circle dialing or neighborhood search, whatever you want to call it. And that cost to those virtual assistants is zero. So, or I'm sorry, to the client, it's zero. So the clients of MyOutDesk don't pay anything extra, and their virtual assistants now get an awesome tool that's going to help them do lead generation more effectively. And so we're really excited about that partnership. I'm going to introduce Andre in just a second. He works with MyOutDesk. He is the VP of Marketing. And MyOutDesk really works with over 1,000 agents and teams. Now, these are some of the most successful agents and teams in the country. And so that's why we're so excited. They currently have over 1,000 VAs working right now, working for agents just like you guys. So, and Andre is going to tell a little bit about the partnership and how MyOutDesk works and things like that. And I know you guys are really excited about how to get more listings and things like that. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Andre. And thank you, Andre, for being on the webinar today.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction, Gary. And I'm excited to be here too. I'm going to go ahead and move my screen just for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and mute you so that you can move about the cabin freely, as they say. And then I'll unmute you at the end of the call so we can do live Q&A together. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
All right, here we go. Alrighty, guys. Well, again, as Gary introduced me earlier, I'm Andre Polston, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right in, and I will be sharing a little bit about the partnership that we have with SalesDialers.com and Gary and Agent Circle Prospecting in a little bit. Before we get to that, I want to equip you guys and empower you guys with some information and some actionable insights and knowledge that you could take and go apply into your business immediately, even today, regardless of whether you choose to work with MyOutDesk or with SalesDialers or not, okay? So a big part of this presentation today is truly just giving you value and being able to give you guys kind of a reframe or give you some aha moments around what's possible, okay? And then, of course, we've put together an incredible, what I believe to be a very incredible and valuable opportunity for those of you who decide and see for yourself this the right decision for you, okay? And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to set up a predictable listing machine with virtual assistants so you can grow your revenue fast without having to constantly stress about lead generation, battle uncertainty and guesswork, or work your life away. And I'm sure that we can all agree that it would be really awesome to have a predictable listing machine, right? A process and a system that just predictably brings in new listings, you know, week in and week out or month in and month out. I'm sure we can all agree that'd be something great to have, right? So my goal for you today from this webinar is for you to have at least one clear path or one good clear plan on how to do that. And so I'm going to show you what one of our most successful clients does with virtual assistants to build out just this, just what I'm talking about right here, a predictable listing machine with virtual assistants, okay? And I'm going to show that to you guys so that you can kind of see what the opportunities are, and you can see what kind of a different reality is, right? Sometimes all you have to do in life, you know, especially as entrepreneurs and as real estate agents when we're building our businesses, you know, we show up to the office every day and we got to do the work that we have in front of us, right? We've got to serve the clients that we have. We've got to prospect for business. We've got to handle all the paperwork. We've got to do all, work for, hunt for, and build relationships with, referral partners, and the list goes on and on. And so sometimes, we're so busy working on our businesses that, it's hard to get a new idea, or it's hard to see a new way just because we're so busy fulfilling on what is already our to-do list, right? Well, sometimes all we need, and this is true for me, this is true for a lot of people, and I'm sure you could probably agree, sometimes all we need is for somebody to show us a different way of doing something or a new possibility. Once we see it, then we're like, oh, I get that. I can do that. I can implement that into my business, right? Okay, so that's my goal here for you today, is to show you a new reality, a new way of doing things, some new possibilities, so that you can just simply take it and go deploy it into your business and get better results, okay? And a couple things here I want to say real quick before we dive into the meat and potatoes is, you know how the parable goes, if you chase two rabbits, you won't catch either one of them. And what I mean by that is, hey, if you're going to be here on the webinar, then just be here, right? Be present, pay attention, turn off all the distractions, Facebook and Twitter and your phone and Skype and whatever else you might be on. You're choosing, this is my perspective, you're choosing to invest an hour to an hour and a half of your time to be here on this presentation that Gary and I are co-hosting. I would like to give you back a great return on your investment of time. But I can only do that if you play your part, right? This is a collaboration between you and me. And I'm going to do my part with this presentation, with the content, and you can see for yourself if I don't deliver in spades on being able to show you some new possibilities of what's happening out there and what some agents are doing right now to succeed with it. But again, I can only do that effectively if you play your part. So please don't chase two rabbits, or you won't, because you won't catch either one of them. If you're going to be here, then just be here. And also, as a final housekeeping item, if you stay until the end, we've put together a free gift for everybody here on the webinar today. And that free gift is going to be a secret URL, a secret link that I'm going to give you, and you'll be able to go to it, and you'll be able to download a free gift from us. Now, what is that free gift? That free gift is our best practices templates, emails, scripts, and cheat sheets on how to hire people, how to attract people, attract talent, the best hiring process to put them through, and then how to onboard them so that they're as effective for you as quick as possible, okay? So if building a team, or hiring even one assistant, or building out an entire team, right? Or working with a buyer's agent, or finding a listing partner, or looking for a transaction coordinator, or a social media assistant, or a marketing assistant, or whatever it may be, if you have any sort of plans or ideas around how to attract, hire, and onboard talent and team members for your real estate business, then this gift is for you. And it's a compilation and a distillation of some of our best practices and some of our best hacks. Again, templates, cheat sheets, and blueprints. And I'm going to give you the secret URL to go download all of those at the end of this webinar as just a way of saying thank you for joining us here today and hanging out with us, okay? So now let's start transitioning into the content, and I've only got about 4 or 5 slides that I want to present to you to kind of be able to pre-frame what I'm about to share with you, just so you know where this is headed, right? Because otherwise it's kind of like going on a long hike, but you don't know where the end is, like, my gosh, am I going to be climbing up this mountain for an hour, or for 10 minutes, or for 2 days, right? So I've got about 3 or 4 slides here where I'm going to get through them real quick, where I'm going to pre-frame kind of the content itself. And then the majority of this presentation and this webinar is going to be the content itself. And what I would like for you to do now, if you haven't done it already, is to get a notepad and a pen. Why is that? Well, the reason I'm bringing that up is because, as you guys know, we only retain sometimes no more than 5 to 10% of what we hear, especially maybe in a presentation like this where we're going to cover a lot of content. So if you have a notepad and pen, you have an opportunity to capture more of those ideas and thoughts and insights as you get them, write them down, which will then translate to you being able to implement more of those ideas and insights into your business. And this comes back to the whole thing about me being able to give you a good return on your investment of time into this presentation today. And so if you get a notepad and pen, that's going to increase the chances of me being able to make this hour one of the most valuable hours you've ever invested on a webinar anywhere, okay? And I believe I can do that, again, if you play your part. So what makes this different? Well, two very specific things make this different. Because, oftentimes we get on a webinar, we're on it for the first 5 to 10 minutes, and, what are we all asking ourselves? We're all busy people, right? We ask ourselves, well, should I stay on this webinar? Is this webinar worth staying on for the whole duration? Well, let me give you two big reasons why it is and what makes this webinar different today so you can kind of get an idea of what we're setting up, and then we're just going to dive into the content. The first thing that I want to share with you is what we call the big picture perspective, or the MyOutDesk advantage. And what I mean by that is this. Gary just shared a little bit about us. We work with over 1,000 real estate teams, and we actually, as of this month, have over 1,500 virtual assistants actively placed inside real estate businesses and teams today, working with some of the most successful agents in the industry today. And I'm going to actually introduce you to some of them here in a few slides. Now, when I say big picture perspective or advantage, what I'm talking about there is this. What we have at MyOutDesk that most agents don't get a chance to get access to is seeing the big picture and being able to connect the dots for what's really working and what's not working across the nation, across all markets, across many different kinds of agents' businesses. We get to see what's working, what's not working, because our product, if you will, are team members, right? So when we have our team members working on a real estate team, we get to kind of mastermind and learn what's really working. And so right now, you're getting access to what really is a mastermind of over 1,500 real estate team members. And everything that we're learning as an organization, as you can imagine, gets distilled down into our webinars, our content, our materials, our resources, and then gets shared with you. That free gift that you're going to get an access to, guess where that comes from? That comes from our mastermind of over 1,500 actively placed real estate professionals, okay? And this training itself, in big part, comes from the things that we're learning there, okay? So that's one thing you're getting access to. And this is why some of the most highly successful agents choose to work with us, because of the value we're able to provide for them. Some of those agents include Tristan Ahumada, which is a name you guys might recognize. He's the founder of Lab Code Agents as well. Nolly Williams, an industry favorite. Ben Kinney, right? He's a client of ours. He actually has 6 or 7 virtual assistants with us. Ken Wimberly is a client of ours and another recognizable name, and he has multiple VAs with us. Tim and Julie Harris, formerly real estate agents, now coaches, and have an amazing podcast and amazing coaching platform. They have 4 or 5 virtual assistants with us. Lisa Archer, who's just an incredible powerhouse in our industry and an incredible influencer and teacher. She has 3 virtual assistants with us. Andrew and Angela Duncan, an amazing couple from Florida who just became the #1 agents worldwide for their brokerage. They have a virtual assistant team with us, okay? So the list goes on, and I don't share those things with you to impress you, but to impress upon you, as the adage goes, that some of the most high demand and high performance agents in the nation choose to work with us. And they wouldn't do that, right? They wouldn't be our clients if we couldn't deliver on the things that we talk about, right? As you can imagine. So why are they working with us? That's one of the reasons what you're going to learn today as we go through the content. Now, really quickly, let me just introduce myself a little bit more in depth so you kind of get a feel for who I am and where the information is from. As they say, be careful who you take advice from, right? Make sure that they're producing or achieving the thing that you want, so that then you can, have a better sense of certainty that is advice worth taking. So let me just give you a teeny bit about myself, and then we're going to jump right in. As Gary shared earlier, I'm the VP of Marketing here at MyOutDesk, and as a kid, I absolutely loved puzzles, riddles, clue games, and mystery novels like Sherlock Holmes. I absolutely devoured it and ate it up. As an adult today, that kind of penchant for wanting to crack the code has stuck with me, right? I'm still obsessed with cracking the code to what works really well, whether it's in my personal life, whether it's with a hobby, and also in business, working with our clients and in our industry. I'm really obsessed with figuring out what cracks the code to work, right? And one of my philosophical kind of underpinnings, one of my fundamental beliefs that you probably can relate to is that I believe that learners are earners. And I don't remember exactly who I heard this from first, but it might be Brian Tracy or Tom Hopkins. But I've learned that I heard this and I really believe it, and you probably relate to it or believe it as well, or can agree with it on some level since you're investing your time into a webinar here today. But I believe that learners are earners. And to that end, earlier this year, I went out and I put together and hosted a virtual summit online called the Get Listings Summit. It was earlier this year, and as you can imagine by the name, it was all about figuring out how to get more listings. And what I got to do was learn from over 35 of the most successful agents, coaches, and leaders in real estate today. People who are winning at the game of real estate right now today in their market, right? So not necessarily old information, not regurgitated information, nothing like that. I talked to 35 people who are sharp, on point, and winning at the game that we are all playing, all right? And I got to learn a lot from them, as you can imagine. What I've done since is I've boiled it down to the essentials, right? There was a lot of extraneous information. There was a lot of little niche and one-off type pieces of advice. But I took a look at the big picture and I asked myself, okay, from all the things that I just learned, what are the key things that if we boiled it down to the essentials could work for any agent in any market, anytime, anywhere, regardless of unique circumstances, unique market conditions, or unique agent personality, or unique goals? What are like the core principles that I've learned that are working right now today in 2017 and beyond? And so what you're going to learn today is a combination of my journey of obsession, as I call it, and MyOutDesk big picture advantage, right? The mastermind of over 1,500 actively placed real estate professionals, and then my journey of obsession to figuring out cracking the code of what really works. All right, so that's what is in store for you right now, and that's what we're going to dive into. So as you can imagine, we and our clients are doing a lot of things right nowadays. But as life is, when you start off doing something new, you oftentimes get a lot of things wrong at first, okay? But after doing this for over 10 plus years, MyOutDesk has been in business for over 10 years, here's some really core things that we've figured out. One is that you can build a business. You, the real estate agent, can build a business from just 1 to 2 lead sources, because all leads can be traced upstream to just a handful of predictable sources. Most mainstream advice is being pushed by vendors selling products, not necessarily looking out for agents. Also, we've learned that there are 3 patterns successful agents have in common that you can model to eliminate most of your headaches, uncertainty, and guesswork. And the best part of it all is that any agent can do this, okay? And so what you're looking at on your screen right now is going to be the underpinnings of what I'm going to share with you for the rest of the webinar, okay? I'm going to unpack some of these things, and I'm going to give you actionable insights and steps that you can take around every single one of these. So again, I hope you have that notepad and pen. Now, we discovered these insights the hard way. I like to joke and say that you get to ethically cheat today and get the easy way, okay? And that hard way, by the way, is riding the roller coaster of the real estate business, going through the endless feast and famine cycle, okay? That's this company was started by a real estate agent, and it's for real estate agents. And a lot of our clients who come to us, our new clients, a lot of the folks in our community, this is some of the hardships and the hard ways they've been going about building a real estate business. And I'm sure you can relate to some of these things, right? Riding the roller coaster of the real estate business, going through the feast and famine cycle, or possibly losing thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours on the hire and fire cycle, right? Trying to build a team. Maybe you've been investing lots of money into technology, leads, people, and marketing, only to see marginal results at best, right? And maybe your work has just completely taken over your life and owns you now, and you're losing out on time with family and your friends and your loved ones. It's hard to go out and consistently make new fun memories and just have fun regularly. And if the idea of having a balanced life sounds like a sci-fi fantasy to you, then you are definitely in the right place, okay? But if you can relate to any of those things on your screen right now, you're in the right place, because these are the kinds of people that we especially are good at helping, okay? So without further ado, let me ask you a rhetorical question of, would you like the easy way to set up predictable streams of new listings without all the headaches? And I want to check for engagement. So type into the chat box and let me know that you guys want to get going and that that you're good to go and that you're ready to jump in and hear this. I'm going to check the chat box here. That's why you don't see my slides right now, because I'm looking over at my chat box. All right, I see a yes from Barry. All right, I need to hear more engagement, guys. I'm really reading this. Awesome. David says absolutely. Tam says get going. Awesome. John says yes. Awesome. Keep them coming, guys. Keep it coming. I gotta check for engagement. I don't want to sound like I'm up here I don't want to feel like I'm all up here by myself. You know how that goes. Tim says yes. Robert says go. Chris says get her done. Javier says yes. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. Ronald says say hi, Ron. Well, Ronald, I just said hi, Ron. Oscar says yes. Awesome. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Elaine says yes for sure. Jesse says yes. I am good to go. All right, perfect, guys. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and keep going. So the easy way to set up predictable streams of new listings without all the headaches. I'm going to break this training down today into 3 different main components. I like to jokingly call them the 3 secrets. They're not necessarily secrets, right? We all get that. But if you don't know about it until you find out about it, it's kind of been a secret for you, right? Up until that point in time, until you know something, it really, by definition, has been an unknown or a secret, okay? So here's the 3 secrets or the 3 nuggets I'm going to unpack for you today that have the power to truly transform your business. Secret number 1 is that a lot of agents are getting scammed by a lot of the real estate lead generation sub-industry. Not by all the portals, but I'm going to show you some of the math and some of the stark math so that you can arm yourself with this knowledge. Then secret number 2 is I'm going to show you how you can get good listing leads for less than $2,000 a month, less than even $1,000 a month if you had to. And I'm talking about consistently getting lots of good listing leads, okay? And then secret number 3 is I'm going to show you how you can build a predictable business without it hijacking your entire life. Just took a sip of my iced tea there, and now we can keep going. So I hope you have your notepad and pen ready. We're getting into meat and potatoes. Let's buckle up and follow along. Secret number 1, agents are getting scammed. How agents are getting scammed by a lot of the real estate lead generation sub-industry. On the Get Listing Summit that I just mentioned to you earlier, where I got access to over 35 of the most successful players in the real estate game right now, one of the folks that I got to interview, one of the players that I got to interview is an industry insider, and he revealed a pretty dirty little secret to me. His name is Howard Tager. If you don't recognize the name, this is the guy who founded Tiger Leads, which was then later acquired by another company. He took a couple of years off from the industry. Then he came back and took a look at the big picture, and he's now currently the founder of YLOPO. And what YLOPO is they're a technology company. They're a next generation technology company focused on transforming the quality of leads for agents. But during his and my hour-long interview on the Get Listing Summit, this is what he had to say. This is a direct quote. The annual volume of home sales doesn't change much, but the number of leads we're producing in the industry is exponential. And he's talking about the lead generation industry there. And he goes on to say that's a big problem. That's a disconnect. At the end of the day, there are only an X number of transactions that are going to happen in any given realtor's market. Yet we're producing exponential, logarithmic, geometric numbers of leads. And what he did on the video interview is he held up one arm in front of him that was kind of horizontal, parallel across his chest. And he said, this is the annual volume of home sales. It stays pretty flat. By the way, the average number of home sales right now in the U.S. on an annual basis, right around 5 million homes, okay? So he's holding his arm, and he says it goes up a little bit, it goes down a little bit, but it's pretty flat. He holds up his other arm almost vertically and says, this is what's happening to the amount of real estate leads, so-called leads, that are being generated and sold to real estate agents, all right? You go, there's a big disconnect. And he went on to say this. Here's the dirty little secret of that industry. The portals are very upfront that, hey, we're going to sell your lead 3 to 4 times. Most agents know that by now. So everybody knows that, and it's a race to get to the leads. But what they're not being told is that consumer doesn't just fill out a form on just one home. They might fill out 2.7 forms or 3.2 forms. Well, do the math. Now that one lead is being exposed to and sold to 9 to 12 realtors. And that doesn't even include the lenders they're selling to, and those lenders have realtor partners as well. So let that sink in for a minute. And then I'm going to jump into another slide, and I'm going to recap some of this, okay? Because I got to interview another longtime industry veteran who uncovered a bit of a smoking gun through doing a lot of investigative work. His name is Gary Elwood. He's the CEO of ProQuest Technologies, and he's generated over 28 million leads for clients. They've generated over 28 million leads for clients since 1995 when ProQuest Technologies started. And as you can imagine, they've gone through a lot of iterations and changes in the marketplace, and they've kept evolving and helping their clients win. Now, he did a long investigative research project, and here's the math that Gary dug up on the industry. Using NAR, Zillow, Trulia, and ActiveRain as his sources, he's been able to compile these stats. Number one is that we as an industry, we real estate agents, we spend about $12 billion a year on marketing and advertising. Real estate agents, loan officers, just we as an industry. 45% of that $12 billion annual dollars spend is online spend, is for online marketing. So 45% of $12 billion is right around $5.4 billion, okay? So stick with me here. We as a real estate community, we as real estate professionals, we spend right now about $5.4 billion a year on advertising online, okay? Now, according to NAR, approximately 500,000 units a year are sold from online marketing, okay? Only about 500,000 homes a year are sold or become clients of agents from their online marketing efforts, right? So the average transaction is literally costing agents, not being a profit of $10,800. Because if you take $5.4 billion, the average annual online spend, and divide it by the number of business that comes from the online spend, about 500,000 units, while some agents are successful with it, most agents try a lot of different lead sources, online marketing platforms. It doesn't work out. What do? We move on, right? You might have even experienced that yourself. But all that cost that you invested, all that money that you outlay, you never got back as a return. That's why the average transaction is it costs $10,800 to generate. So what's happening? What's happening is that for every transaction online, the average agent does 5.2 transactions from repeats and referrals. In other words, a lot of the online lead generation industry is being supported by agents' repeat and referral business. Okay, let me kind of break this. Let me kind of summarize this stuff for you. Real estate leads right now are being daisy chained. They're not intentionally being daisy chained, but because of how many real estate portals there are, how many lead generation portals there are, and because of the fact that consumers are not being double checked against other lists or against other portals, and they're being resold so many times, it's kind of like getting a real estate deal daisy chained. Our real estate leads are oftentimes inadvertently being daisy chained, because the number of homes sold annually doesn't swing too much, right? We know that. But the number of leads being sold is literally climbing exponentially. So what that tells us is that there's a massive disconnect between what's available for real estate agents and what the lead generation sub-industry says there is. And when you realize that, and when you look at the macro numbers that Gary dug up, Gary Elwood from ProQuest Technologies, most of the real estate lead generation sub-industry is literally being financed by agents' repeat and referral business. Okay? And so you have to have a very, very good system in place, lead conversion system in place, and a lead follow-up system in place, or you have to have somebody else doing it for you, like a virtual assistant, if you want to stand any chance of consistently winning at the game of buying leads online and converting them into business consistently and profitably. Okay? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you to secret number 2, and I'm going to show you how you can get good listing leads consistently for less than $2,000 a month, even less than $1,000 a month if you had to. And I'm going to show this to you by actually showing you some case studies, okay? So again, I hope you have that notepad and that pen ready to take notes, because I'm going to give you some step-by-step actions you're going to take in secret number 2, okay? So be ready to write down step-by-step stuff. Don't necessarily worry about remembering it all right now, because if you write it down, you'll have it, and then you can come back and revisit it and start implementing it for your business, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, based upon everything I just shared with you, and also based upon your experience, I'm going to ask you a trick question, and this is one of the last times that I'm going to ask you for your engagement in the chat box, but again, I want to make sure that I didn't lose everybody with all that math. If you had to choose between lots of leads or high quality leads, which one would you pick? Type it in the chat box and let me know. Would you pick high quality leads or lots of leads? Let me know in the chat box right now. Type in. Barry says high quality. Joseph says high quality. Derek says high quality. Yves, or sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but your last name is Patricia. You say high quality leads. Rami or Rami says high quality. Tam says HQ. David says high quality. John Silva, high quality. Robert says high quality. Brandon and Tim both say HQ and HQ. Awesome. Okay, so everybody's on board. And this is typically what happens when I share this. Everybody's smart enough to know you want high quality, right? Keith says high quality as well. So, of course, we all want high quality leads. Now, the best of both worlds, right, is that we could generate lots of high quality leads, right? I'm sure everybody can nod their head up and down with me and agree. Yeah, dude, lots of high quality leads would be great for my business, man. And I'm sure we can all agree with that. But if you had to choose, right, if you had to choose, because you can't always have everything that you want in life, then, you know, sounds like we would all go with high quality leads, and intelligently so. So what are high quality leads? What are we at MyOutDesk seeing right now as the best ways to generate high quality leads? That's that big picture advantage that I was talking about earlier, and I want to arm you with this stuff right now. I want to equip you with this, so let's rock and roll. The best leads are, from our perspective, the way we describe them internally here at the company, the way we educate our clients and our virtual assistants is this: strong intent, high probability, okay? Strong intent, high probability. Now, you might be saying, Andre, that's common sense. I know, but if common sense was common, right, as they say, common sense isn't so common, unfortunately, right? Now, what does strong intent, high probability mean? Let me put it this way. I don't mean to tell you to throw out, you know, internet leads, right, completely out of your business. But what I'm going to demonstrate for you right now is to show you that internet leads aren't the only leads out there. When we say strong intent, what we mean is that we want a lead that's showing real consumer behavior. Now, you might say, that's a lot of big syllable words. What does that actually mean in practical, you know, if you break that down to the practical step by step, what does that mean for me today, right now in my business, Andre? Well, here's what it means. The strong intent is somebody perhaps who fills up their SUV or their minivan with $100 in gas, puts their family in the car, and drives around on a Saturday, driving around neighborhoods, looking at neighborhoods where they might want to live, right? Yeah, I bet you could agree with me that somebody who's doing that has some pretty strong intent of buying or selling real estate, right? Somebody who maps out a bunch of open houses and goes and visits them. That's somebody who's showing some strong intent, right? Think about it like this. You know, when somebody's out there showing real consumer behavior, you know, strong intent, there's a high probability, right, that they want to do something, they want to buy something, that they're going to take some action, right? With an internet lead, you don't know if somebody was just sitting on their couch at 9:30 at night with a bowl of ice cream in their, you know, in their sweatpants. They were on a commercial break from their favorite TV show, saw some sort of an advertisement or commercial on the TV, opened up their laptop that's sitting right next to them, or got on their iPad, right, or on their smartphone, and we're like, hey, I'm going to go see about that little real estate thing that I just saw on that commercial. And again, they're on a commercial break, so they want to stay distracted. So they go to an online website that has something to do with real estate, and they punch in, they look for some information. Maybe they just, out of curiosity, want to see what their home is worth, or they want to see what the home is worth of their friend or their neighbor or their family, you know, or whatever it may be. And so they type in that information, they look for that information, and to get access to it, they put in their name and their email address, maybe their telephone number, and they get that information, they look at it, and that's it. And then 2 minutes later, their TV show comes back on. They slide the laptop or the iPad off to the other cushion. They're back to their bowl of ice cream. Hopefully it's pistachio ice cream, because I really like that. And then they're watching their TV show again. Now, is that a real estate lead? Because I can tell you one thing, it's getting sold as a real estate lead, right? And again, I'm not trying to tell you to throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? We can win with internet leads for sure, if we have the right system process in place. But oftentimes, it's really easy for somebody to become an internet lead, but not be a lead with any intent whatsoever, which in my opinion then means it's not a lead. Now, that's just my humble opinion, but to me, somebody who has no intent of ever buying or selling a home in the next 3, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months is not a lead, right? So we always like to look for strong intent leads, or we like to set up processes and plans for our clients that can demonstrate how we're going to generate strong intent leads. By the way, you might be saying, Andre, you're talking about buyers right now with this webinar. is about generating listing leads, right? Because you're talking about driving around neighborhoods. You're talking about mapping out open houses. Andre, that's buyer behavior. Well, here's something that you might not know. Right now, middle of 2017, we are at a 35-year all-time low for first-time home buyers. Do you know what this means? What this means is that approximately 40% of all buyers right now nationally are also seller opportunities. Okay, let that sink in, write that down, become aware of that. If you have a team, if even one person working for you, drive that understanding into everybody. Is that about 40% of buyer opportunities right now are seller opportunities. That's the advantage that we have here at MyOutDesk with that big picture, and we can kind of see the ground shifting. We can see where it's headed, and then make sure that all of our clients are able to pivot with that, or kind of position yourself to catch that wave, right? We see the waves coming, and we know where we got to get to catch those waves and ride them. And by high probability, remember I said strong intent and high probability. By high probability means they have real motivation, right? So you want to look for strong intent, high probability leads. Now, what I'm about to show you next is a step-by-step way of how two different agents go about generating strong intent, high probability leads that the majority of turn into sellers, okay? Because the fact that, you know, right now we're at a 35-year all-time low for first-time home buyers, okay? So get ready. Let me introduce you to Chris Juarez. This is one of the rock star agents that I had a chance to interview on the Get Listing Summit. And what he has done is he's taken a sleepy little strategy that we all know about called open houses. Now, let me be clear. I used to be the guy that would roll my eyes at open houses. From my perspective, I was like, open houses are a waste of time, man. They're just all about, you know, making the home seller feel good like you're doing something. Doesn't do diddly for the real estate agent or their business. I was really in that camp quite solidly. Well, I got to admit, in about an hour, Chris Juarez completely ninja'd my brain like a Jedi. He completely transformed my perspective on open houses and gave me some of the biggest aha moments I've ever had in cracking the code of what really works, right? And this is what he's done. He's taken open houses and he's refined a process that nets him no less than 2 new clients per open house. Now, I'm about to show you a big part of how to do that, okay? So get ready. So he has this mantra that he joked about on the interview where he goes, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. I grew my business 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. And it keeps growing that way, okay? And the proof is in the pudding for him. Now, here's something else that Chris did. He moved cities not once but twice and used this strategy to rebuild his business both times. And you know, as you guys know, as a real estate agent, you're never supposed to move cities, right? Because moving a city basically means restarting your business from scratch. Well, he did it not once, but twice, and both times he used this strategy as one of his core drivers to rebuild his business. Now, you might be asking yourself, yeah, okay, well, how much business does he actually get? Last year, in 2016, Chris did 225 deals in 2016 using this strategy that I'm about to show you as a core driver, okay? He went from 0 to lots of deals, moved cities, went from 0 to lots of deals, moved city again, went from 0 to 225 deals in 2016, okay? And what he's done is he's broken the open house process down to what he calls the 6 Ps. For the sake of time today, I'm going to walk you through one of those P's today, and I think it's one of the most critical P's. Okay, it's the most tactical P. So, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to give you something that you can walk away with from this training. Be like, dang it, I've got a new thing to do, and I know it can work because I saw how it works. I get it, and I can go do it because I want you to go do it and succeed with it. But I'm going to show you the 7-day promotion process right now. Okay. And that's one of the P's is promotion. How do you promote an open house to make it work? Now, here's what Chris has done. Let me actually back up. I'm about to show you the 7-day promotion process. When every open house that Chris or his team now do, they start the process for it 7 days before the open house. This is very, very, very key. Write this down. They start it 7 days before the open house. Okay. So when I say day 1, what it really is day, the 7th day before the open house. So let's just say that right now, today, you're starting it. Okay. Right now it's Thursday, right? And it's, according to my watch here on Pacific time, we're at almost 10:45, right? So right now is day number 1. So your open house would be next Wednesday. Does that make sense? Because you're starting it 7 days ahead of time. I want to make sure I make that clear. Okay, so day one, what would you do today if you went out and started this right now? If you got off this webinar and you're like, wow, that was the most amazing webinar I've ever been on. That guy was a little loud, a little aggressive, super high energy. I don't know how many Red Bulls he drank, but he brought the goods for sure. He brought the goods. I'm going to go start this right now. What would you do? Okay, so if you have your pen and your paper, here's what you're going to do. Right now, today, day one, you're going to go and you're going to select the open house. If you don't have a listing that you can sit open, do what Chris did. Chris just sat the listings of other agents in his brokerage open. Okay, just and you know how that goes. Just contact some other agents in your office and be like, hey, I feel like setting an open house, trying to get some prospect for some clients. Can I help you? Score points with your home seller. So if you don't have a listing, just pick somebody else's listing and set that open. All you got to do today, though, step one, day one, select an open house. Tomorrow, Friday, day number 2, here's what you're going to do. You're going to post that house online. You're going to put it on Craigslist. You're going to put it on Facebook. You're just going to post it anywhere that you can put it online for free, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to obtain a call list. Now, if you don't have access to something like Agent Circle Prospecting from Gary here, which, by the way, we've got an amazing offer for you here coming up. But if you don't have something like that, then you could probably just contact your title company and get it from them, okay? Contact a title rep and get that from them. You're also going to want to mail invites to the 100 closest owner-occupied homes around that open house. You can get those addresses and that data. Typically, you might be able to get that from a title company in your area. And again, some of the better information for things like this exists with things like Agent Circle Prospecting, which again was why we're partnering up with Gary and with Sales Dialers companies. But again, I'm going to keep going here. So you're going to post the house online. You're going to obtain a call list for the closest homes to the open house. And you're going to mail a simple invite to the 100 closest owner-occupied homes. Day number 3, this is Saturday. You're posting online again, okay? Just reposting the same free posts. And that's what you're going to call the neighbors. You're going to call the neighbors, and you're going to put a sign in the yard. So what's going to happen is on Saturday, you're going to put a sign in the yard of the open house advertising the open house, which is going to be happening on Wednesday, okay? And when you call the neighbors, here's your script. Here's your script. It's really, really simple. It really nips any sort of rejection or rudeness in the butt, right in the bud, okay? Here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, hi, my name is Andre, and I'm calling from, ABC Real Estate. The reason I'm calling is because your neighbors, this is the key part, your neighbors, John and Susan, over at 345 Elm Street, asked me to call you and invite you to their open house this Wednesday. Now, as soon as you tell somebody that you name their neighbors by name and you tell them that that neighbor asked you to call them to invite them to an open house, it diffuses any and all sort of tension or salesperson rejection or any of that kind of nonsense, okay? And it makes it really easy. And then the opportunity for you there is to say, also, this is a chance for you to choose your neighbors. Choose your next neighbor. So if you have any friends or family that have been really wanting to move into the neighborhood, this is an opportunity to possibly choose your next neighbors. Let them know about it. Invite them to it. It's this Wednesday at whatever time, okay? That's all you're going to say. Very simple script. Day number 4, you're going to post online again. Sunday, you're posting online again for free. You're going to continue calls to the neighbors. And then if you have a database, if you have a CRM of any sort, if you do have any sort of stack of leads, you're going to invite the folks that might be tagged in your database based upon interest in that specific geographic area. Okay, that's what Chris does. Then you're also going to go through your sign calls. Remember, you put the sign up in their yard yesterday, right, on day 3. So on day 4, you're going to go through those sign calls to invite them to the open house. And then you're also going to follow up with any internet-related leads on the open house that might have contacted you from Craigslist or from Facebook, okay? Day number 5, this is Monday, you're going to post online again, and then you're going to boost a social media post on Facebook. Now, Chris really doesn't spend more than $20 to $30, not a lot of money, just to boost it a little bit in that geographic area. And then you're going to prepare your open house folder, which is always digital. You always only put it on your computer. You're going to prepare market stats, comps, and your digital flyer. Now, why would you do it digitally? Here's why. This is what Chris and his team discovered. Anytime somebody comes to the open house, if you ask them, hey, would you like to have some market stats, comps, and a flyer on this open house? Just about everybody's going to say yes. When they say yes, you can say, great, I can email it to you because we've gone green and we don't print papers for that. We find that most people just lose it or throw it away. But if it's in your inbox, then you have it forever. What's your best email address? And that's a great little nifty hack for being able to convert a lot more of your foot traffic in an open house to at least an email lead, because then they're going to give you that email lead in exchange for value. And what you're doing is you're offering them real value, not just asking them for their information in exchange for nothing. Got it? So just remember that little pro hack right there. Day number 6, this is Tuesday. You're going to post online again. You're going to boost the social media post again for maybe $10 or $15. And then you're going to go door knock. You're going to go door knock the 100 closest homes to the open house. And all you're going to say is you're going to say the exact same script that you said on the phone. Hey, this is Andre. I'm from Acme Real Estate. The reason I'm here is just your neighbors, John and Susan, at 345 Elm Street, asked me to let you know and invite you to their open house. That's happening tomorrow, right? On Wednesday at whatever time. And also, this is a chance for you to pick your next neighbors if you have any friends or family that really wanted to move to the neighborhood. Okay, that's it. Really simple. Day number 7, if you didn't do the door knocking, that's the day of, you do it then. And then what you do is you set up all your open house signs. And Chris suggests, and not suggests, he actually says this is exactly what works. You need a minimum of 7. You want it closer to 10. And he says to when you pick an open house, try to do an open house that's no more than 3 signs from any major road, any major road artery, because that's going to maximize the amount of car traffic that you'll be able to kind of divert to your open house, okay? That is the crash course through the 7-day process, okay? I hope you've been keeping track with me and writing it down. Now, let me introduce you to one of our clients, Lisa Archer, who I mentioned before already. She's taken the same strategy and she's doing some crazy things with it. So she's a MyOutDesk client. She started using this open house strategy in July of 2016. That means the middle of last year. That's almost the exact same time this year, but last year, okay? She only started using it in the middle of last year. By the end of last year, 25% of her business came from this strategy. So she only did something for 6 out of 12 months, but in those short 6 months, it accounted for 25% of all the business she generated for those 12 entire months. Now you may be asking yourself, how much business was that? Well, she did 165 deals in 2016, okay? So that means 41 deals, 41 additional deals came from this silly, simple, sleepy little strategy of reimagining and redefining open houses and how Chris Suarez does it. 41 deals were added to the bottom line. And it continues to account for about 25% of her business to this day right now. Now, she has 3 virtual assistants with MyOutDesk, and she uses them for the entire process, short of the door knocking and sitting the open house, right? Short of that, virtual assistants run the rest of the process for her. This is where I want you to really start seeing and understanding how a virtual assistant can completely transform your business. Because no matter what you're doing, no matter how busy you are, no matter what's come up, no matter what client issues you got to solve, no matter what paperwork you might have to run and take care of, which you might want to have a virtual assistant doing that for you as well, hint, hint. But if you got to deal with clients or family, or maybe having an off day or whatever it may be, that entire 7-day process is now being run for Chris and for Lisa by a hybrid team of virtual assistants, so that it's happening day in and day out, okay? As a matter of fact, when Chris moved cities twice, what he shared with me is that he would book 4 to 5 open houses a week. He would literally start 2 weeks ahead of time, talk to other agents, book open houses. He was doing 4 to 5 open houses a week until he got off the ground, because he had this 2x2x2 proven process that would get him at least 2 clients per open house. And as quickly as he could, he parlayed that into an assistant, to a virtual assistant, to run as much of the process for him as possible, so that he could focus on doing less and less of the promotion process, the setup process. And now this is being run and implemented at all times, right? So Lisa, though, takes us to the next level, okay? So stay with me here, keep tracking. She has her ISA virtual assistant, her inside sales agent virtual assistant with this Circle Prospect, okay? Circle Prospect. She has them Circle Prospect prior to the open house, using the script I already shared with you. Hey, John and Susan, your neighbors, asked us to call you and invite you to their open house. She has them Circle Prospect when the house goes under contract, and all they simply say then is, hey, so John and Susan's home just went under contract, but we've got all these buyers left over. Would you be interested in selling your home anytime soon if you could get the right price? And then she has them Circle Prospect after the house closes. Hey, John and Susan's house just sold for $345,000. Every time a house sells, that impacts the value of every other single home in that neighborhood. Would you like us to put together a little comp package, a little market comp plan for you to see what your home is worth and what you might be able to sell it for? By the way, we got a lot of buyer interest from that open house. Maybe we could show your house to some people, okay? Now, as I shared earlier, both Chris and Lisa use a hybrid team for running this now. Lisa has quit traditional farming completely. She stopped spending money on that. And now she literally cracks open new neighborhoods just by circle prospecting another agent's brokerage listing or sitting another brokerage listing open if they don't already have a listing in that neighborhood, okay? In fact, she shared with me just 2 weeks ago that one of the first open houses that they did this with back in July of 2016, they are still in that neighborhood a year and a half later because one open house, then following the 7-day process and following the promotion process and all that, because they talk to the neighbors so much, right, when they call them to invite them, when they door knock, when they circle prospect, they literally just keep getting more and more and more seller opportunities. And then, of course, a strong percentage of the buyers walking into the open houses are also seller opportunities. There's literally a neighborhood that Lisa and her team keep pulling listings in a year and a half later, and they've not left that neighborhood since because they're literally just able to hop from one listing to another because they're consistently implementing this entire process, soup to nuts. And it doesn't rely on Lisa because she has virtual assistants implementing a lot of it for her, okay? So that leads me to my point number 3, how you can build a predictable business without it hijacking your entire life, all right? How do you do all of this that I just described without basically working 25 hours a day, 8 days a week? Well, here's how you do it. In the words of Tony Robbins, if you want to achieve success, all you need to do is find a way to model those who have already succeeded, okay? And what we have found with the MyOutDesk big picture perspective and advantage is that there are 3 predictable patterns that you will go through all the time, and as any real estate agent will go through these if you want to accomplish your big goals for your business. Whatever your goals are, whatever the lifestyle is, and I want you to take a minute to imagine that, right? Whatever the amount of money is that you want to make, however many clients you want to serve, whatever your financial goals are for this year or beyond, wherever you want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, wherever you want to be, we have found that every agent is going to go through 3 predictable patterns, okay? Predictable pattern number 1 is you're going to have to master your personal time and productivity. That's the first glass ceiling you got to break through. And I'm going to imagine that most of you probably have a handle on this, right? The second predictable pattern that is hiring and building a team. That's the second big ceiling that you got to break through. Now, this is where most agents struggle and hit a ceiling, and they never break through. But if you can break through and do this effectively and find a way to win, this is where you go a lot faster, a lot farther. This is how you build a predictable business without hijacking your entire life, and this is how you get off the roller coaster and start scaling predictably, okay? And then predictable pattern number 3 is leadership and vision, focusing on culture, leadership, and community. Now, this is where Chris and Lisa are at now. But at one time, they were actually all the way back here, right? 0 deals. As a matter of fact, you know, Chris moved cities not once but twice, like you learned. And he got a handle on mastering his time and productivity. Then it was about building and hiring the right kind of team to do a lot of things for him that he wouldn't have to do himself so that it was happening for him predictably. This is how you engineer and design a predictable listing machine. Now, let me give you some really strong insights that we've learned here at MyOutDesk about how to actually build out the team properly. 1, don't try to hire somebody to be Superman or Wonder Woman right away because that doesn't work. Nobody is that. Nobody's just going to, you're not going to be able to wave a magic wand, make one hire, and they take care of everything. Instead, what you need to do is you need to hire with a specific outcome in mind. And what I mean by that is you need to know exactly what will be taken off your plate forever, or you need to know exactly what revenue-producing process will be implemented for you, like Lisa and Chris, so that it's always humming along and producing results for you, okay? And then what you want to do is this. You want to keep your new hire focused on fulfilling that one outcome that you had in mind until it's working, and only then add to their plate. Or instead of adding to their plate, keep them focused on producing that one outcome for you that you hire them for that they're now doing successfully, right? And then just simply make your next hire and keep scaling. This is how our most successful clients do it, right? The ones that you've met and so many more, right? Ben Kinney, Tristan Ahumada, Lisa Archer. Andrew and Angela Duncan, Nolly Williams, right? This is how folks get to 4, 5, 6, 7 virtual assistants plus their in-house team, and it all keeps going smoothly because you hire with an outcome in mind instead of just trying to hire somebody to do anything and everything, but not having a clear idea or a clear plan for how you're going to get results with them. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Have you found the information that you've learned today insightful and valuable? Right, and do you feel like maybe you've been drinking out of a water hose a little bit? If you're like most people who are on this training, who've been on this training with me, which I've just started doing, that can be the feeling. Well, what I want to do right now is I want to ask you for permission and ask you if it's okay if I spend the next 10 to 15 minutes just simply sharing with you an incredible offer that we've put together for helping you implement a lot of what I've shared with you today. That could help you go a lot faster and a lot farther. And be able to take advantage of the partnership that we've created between SALESDIALERS.com and between MyOutDesk. And I want to ask you, so type it in the chat box and please let me know if that's okay with you for me to go ahead and forward and really, in so many words, give you the pitch part. But I think that after everything you've heard today, you're going to absolutely love the pitch, the offer that we've put together for you guys today to show you how we can help you implement a lot of this and so much more. So come on, type it in the chat box and let me know. I want engagement. I want to know that you're cool with it. And I want to have that I've got folks listening. Derek says, yeah, lots of info. DG says, yes. Oscar says, okay. Jesse says, sure. Barry says, pitch away. Tim says, oh, yeah. Herb says, yes. John says, yes. Okay, awesome. The yeses keep coming in. Robert says, pitch. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to keep going for the sake of time because I want to wrap up in about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to give you guys the URL to get your free gift. Okay, don't forget about that. I'm going to give you the thank you URL. And then after that, Gary and I are going to do live Q&A, okay? So what we've put together here at MyOutDesk is we are literally, and I don't mean to sound grandiose, but we are literally reimagining the future of hiring in real estate, okay? We are completely reimagining it, and we're calling it a business in a box. Now, here's what you're going to get. Here's what we put together for it, okay? What we put together is a work-ready virtual assistant who can do all the things that you've just learned about that are being done for Chris and for Lisa and so much more. They're work-ready. They'll work exclusively for you. They're not going to be part of some virtual assistant farm that works with a lot of real estate agents. They work exclusively for you. They get vetted. We put them through a gets it, wants it, and has a capacity to do it, and we put them through a full background check. So you don't got to do any of that. And then we also check for the 3 E's. We check for experience, expertise, and employment. We check that they have experience running a similar type of job. We want to make sure they have expertise running similar types of tools, softwares, and products. And we want to make sure that they've been employed in the similar type of role so that we know they can actually maintain a job. We do all that for you. So instead of you having to figure out how to write a resume, post a resume, screen resumes, and I don't know if you're anything like me, but it's hard to tell the difference between resumes, right? Then you got to go ahead and do the screening phone calls. Then you got to do then you got to come do the interviews, and you got to check for the you go do the background check. All that stuff is that hire and fire cycle that happens in real estate, right? Well, we've eliminated all of that. Etch-a-sketched it completely off the board for you. We do all of that. And then also on top of that, we handle all payroll, benefits, and medical. We literally make it just a flat fee per month for you, and you don't have to deal with any of the federal laws or the state laws around employment. No employment laws, because we make it just a flat subscription fee per month, and we as the vendor handle all the other stuff, the hiring, the employment, legalities, the payroll, the benefits, the medical, etc. Okay? The virtual assistant, pay attention. This is really, really key. This is a big part of how we're reimagining what it means to hire somebody. Our virtual assistants come with access to 5 proven strategies that they can implement for you. One of them you've already learned about, the open house strategy from Chris Suarez. What are the other 4? The bringing online, offline marketing system from Lisa Archer called Boom Marketing. We got a neighborhood niche strategy from an agent who's absolutely killing it called Joel Sherlock. He has such a unique approach to this. We've got the ultimate Facebook post strategy for social media from Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer, by the way, is the author of 7L, a book you've probably heard about. And then also, we've got some listing getting strategies using Facebook from Josh Shanley, the guy behind Client Alchemist. Okay. Now, I got access to all these folks through the Get Listing Summit, and I got access to a lot of their best insights and how they do what they do. And what we've done here at MyOutDesk is we've taken every one of these strategies and broken it down to a step-by-step checklist. And then when you hire a virtual assistant through us, they come to you with these options, and you can have them start implementing any one of these right away while also, getting some things off your plate. So it's not like hiring on a typical virtual assistant website or with a typical vendor where it's like you hire somebody, but then you got to figure out how to work with them, what to have them do, and all that stuff. Plus, you got to go through checking for experience and training and all that as well. We've taken care of all of that for you, the background check, the expertise check, and they come to you with strategies they can implement for you, just like the one you've learned, that you can clearly see how well it can work. With this, you're going to be able to get time-robbing tasks off your plate forever. You're going to get hours of revenue productive time back every single day and week, okay? You're going to start seeing stability in your business because these things are going to be implemented for you, right? You're going to get predictability in growing your business. You're going to start unlocking consistent streams of new listings on a monthly and weekly basis, just like we see with so many of our new clients. And you're going to know that you have a proven process being implemented for you, even if you're busy or unavailable, right? Like Lisa does, like Chris does, and so many of our other clients, because they've got virtual assistants and a hybrid team doing so much of this for them. On the flip side of that coin, you're going to be able to get rid of feeling like you're always on the real estate roller coaster, right? That doesn't happen overnight, as you can imagine, but it starts to happen when you have things consistently being implemented for you that work, right? You're going to be able to get rid of losing your entire life and weekends to your business and clients, because your business is going to be a lot more productive. You're going to stop wasting thousands of dollars on leads, marketing, and ideas that simply don't work, because again, you're going to have something proven being implemented for you. And you're also going to be able to get rid of that uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach when you're not working, because you'll know that a business generating process is being implemented for you at all times, okay? And then also you're going to be able to get rid of the hair-pulling process of finding and hiring team members, because we do it all for you, okay? So what you're going to get is you're going to get a work-ready virtual assistant that comes matched for the type of job that you want to hire them for, and they're going to be able to implement some proven strategies for you, and that's worth $1,997. Now, here's the next thing that we're including is a 90-day launch. What we found is this. Most new hires, if they're not going to work out, don't work out in the first 90 days. But if they do work out, if they do succeed in the first 90 days, they will be a long-term valuable team member for you. Well, we want to help you win, obviously, right? Because we're in a relationship-driven business just like you are. So we want our clients to be our clients forever, right? You get that. That's just common sense. Well, how would we go about doing that? Well, one of the main things that we found to do that is to help you guys absolutely knock it out of the ballpark with your new virtual assistant within the first 90 days. And we put together a program that now has been proven to generate twice the results, 3 times as fast. And how we've done that is by literally assigning a dedicated client success coach to you and the virtual assistant. And get this, they're going to work with you. It's not like we just hand something off to you, give you some information, and that's it. We literally work with you hands-on and help you with the onboarding process so that you see success quickly. All right? So you don't have to worry about making lots of time for, hey, I'm not sure how much time it'll take me to actually, hire a virtual assistant and onboard them and train them. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to wonder what's next. All you're going to have to do is primarily need to train them on preferences and how you want things done, but not necessarily skills, okay? Because you're going to have a dedicated success coach working with you and the virtual assistant at all times implementing that. By the way, here's something we do that no other virtual assistant company does that I personally know of, and that's this. If the virtual assistant that you hire isn't working out in the first 90 days, we just simply swap them out for you with somebody else, and the dedicated success coach keeps working with you and the VA, the new VA, to get the result that you want, okay? So we are doing everything we can to put the right resources around onboarding and helping you knock it out of the ballpark in the first 90 days. So what you're going to get today is a work-ready virtual assistant and the 90-day launch done with you, which would normally have it cost you $997. So the total value of everything that we put together here for you today is $2,994. Now, you might be asking yourself, Andre, who has this worked for? This has worked for real estate agents looking to make their first hire. This has worked for real estate entrepreneurs with teams who want to grow their GCI significantly. This has worked for team leaders who need to grow their production. And this has worked for real estate agents who already have an assistant, but now they want to start leveraging themselves and accelerating growth faster, okay? This has worked for each one of these facets and backgrounds. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, is this everything that I need? Because we ask ourselves the exact same question, right? Well, we figured out that one thing that really, really helps, and again, this is part of reimagining how hiring will work, is ongoing training. What do I mean by that? We put together something called MyOutDesk University, Mod University. Remember that 1,500 plus person mastermind that I told you about that we get access to and that we learn from constantly? Well, we're going to give your virtual assistant and all of your existing staff access to this mastermind, this body of knowledge that we're constantly learning from. This way, you stay current with what's working and catching trends as they appear. Imagine if you'd been in Lisa Archer's position and were able to get access to these kinds of insights, middle of last year, and had spent a whole year implementing them already. And where would you be with this open house strategy if you'd had it, middle of last year? Well, you'd probably be kicking some major butt with it right now, right? You'd probably be getting all kinds of results. It's not that it's not rocket science, it's just a little time intensive, right? But if you have a virtual assistant, most of that's getting implemented for you, right? And now you're just able to do the parts that you got to do and build the results. So what we do here with Mod University and that mastermind is, as we keep discovering things like this that work, we make sure that we arm and equip you and your staff with them so you can start implementing them into your business right away and getting the results from them as they're working in the marketplace, okay? So we're going to keep your staff trained for you. We also get training access to most vendor tools because of the size of our company, and then we're able to provide that for free to your virtual assistants and your staff, okay? So what you're going to get today is a work-ready virtual assistant who can do all the things that I described for you, including having access to the 5 proven strategies. You're also going to get access to the 90-day launch and Mod University, which if you had to pay $97 a month for it, would be $1,164 a year. So the total value of everything that we put together here for you today is $4,158. Now, if all this did was get you hours of your revenue productive time back or your personal time back, would it be worth $4,158 while also a revenue producing machine was being built for you? Oh, I believe it would be worth it, right? If all this did was predictably generate more listings for you every month, would it be worth $4,158? Well, whatever your commissions are normally, I can imagine that if you got 2, 3, or 4 more listings per month, this would certainly be worth it. If all this did was took you and your business off the real estate roller coaster and started giving you predictability and took a lot of that pressure off of you and took some of the non-revenue things off your plate, would that be worth $4,158? Well, I believe it would be, right? When we put this together, we had 2 choices. We could go the first option, which is to go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, but that wouldn't really incentivize us to stack the value, as you can imagine, right, when you go cheap. The second option was it would require us to make a higher investment, but in exchange, we could devote a lot more resources to you guys to guarantee your success. And as you can see, that's what we've done, right, with the Mod University, with access to the mastermind, and with the done with you hands-on 90-day launch. So you naturally can probably see why an agent would pay us $5,000 for this, but I'm not going to charge you $5,000 for this today, okay? For the general public, it's a $397 setup fee to get started, but because you're part of the Sales Dialers community, you can get started today for just a $297 deposit by going to myoutdesk.com/sales, okay? Now, let me explain to you how this works, okay? What would happen is that you'll make a $297 deposit, and then within 24 hours, somebody on our team will contact you, and they'll set up an in-depth interview for you with one of our success coaches to learn everything that we possibly can about your business, your goals, where are you at right now, how many deals are you doing right now, how many leads are you generating? What's your marketing budget? Where do you want to be by the end of the year? Where do you want to be in 3 years and 5 years? What's your constraints? How many people do you have on your team? We're going to map out your business, right? Unique to you. And then we're going to be able to then we're going to know exactly the right kind of virtual assistant you need. Now, here's the best part. You skip the entire hiring process, the vetting process, the background check process, all the screening process. What we do is we match you with 2 to 4 qualified virtual assistants for video interviews for you to meet them, interview them, and pick the one that you like. That's it. You skip everything else, okay? But you might be asking yourself, well, what else would I need? Well, how about tools for your virtual assistant? And here's what we've done. Here's where Gary comes in with SalesDialers.com. Bonus number 1 is for the first 30 people who take action today on this webinar, you will get a 3-line sales call system from SalesDialers.com for free for 90 days. Now, this normally costs $109 a month, which means you have to normally spend $318 on this. Now, as you can imagine, as you can see, this is already more than just even the deposit, okay? But you get a free 3-line sales call system from SalesDialers.com free for 90 days. It's all part of making that 90-day launch process as effective as possible, and we're doing everything we can to pull together the right resources and stack the value to help you absolutely knock it out of the ballpark in the first 90 days and put your business on a brand new trajectory in as little as 90 days, okay? But what else might you need, you ask yourself, to go with that? Well, how about data and lists for your virtual assistant so they can do the circle prospecting that Lisa has her VAs do, right? And so they can call on expires and FSBOs for you and generate leads that are strong intent, high probability, right? Because expires and FSBOs are strong intent, high probability, correct? Well, this is bonus number 2. Again, big thanks to Gary. For the first 20 people on this webinar who take action today and make the deposit, you're going to get access for free for 90 days for that entire launch process to agentcircleprospecting.com, which is normally $39 a month, so a total of $117 value. And what this will do is your virtual assistant is going to be able to circle prospect owner-occupied homes around those open houses. They're going to be able to call on expireds and FSBOs. You're going to be able to get access to all the data you need to be able to equip your VA to be able to make the right kind of calls for you to the right people, okay? So what you're getting today is a work-ready virtual assistant, a 90-day launch, the access to Mod University, SalesDialers.com free for 90 days, Agent Circle Prospecting free for 90 days, which is a total value of $4,593, okay? Now, you have 2 choices. First option is you do nothing, don't take this leap of faith, which isn't 100% risk-free, by the way, because if you don't do something different, you're never going to get different results. Or the second option is you pony up the small investment today of a $297 deposit compared to all the value you get in return and just give it a shot. And here's where we completely reverse the risk for you, made it completely risk-free. We provide a 30-day money-back guarantee on the deposit. If we don't match you with a qualified virtual assistant within 30 days, you'll simply get a full refund, no questions asked, no hassles, no risk to you, okay? And by the way, when we match you with a virtual assistant, and if we match you with one in 30 days and you decide to go with them, we never charge you the $1,997, nor do we charge you the $997 for the launch, nor do we charge you the $97 a month for Mod University. You just pay a flat fee for the virtual assistant, which is going to be a full-time virtual assistant, and the only cost there is $1,750 a month per month for a 40-hour-a-week full-time virtual assistant. That's it. We don't charge you any of the costs. We actually make it free, and in exchange, what we do is we provide you with a 30-day guarantee, and then when we match you with a qualified virtual assistant in the first 30 days, if you hire them, then all we do is we do a 90-day contract for that 90-day launch, and then after that, it's month to month. You don't have to prepay for the entire contract. You pay it month to month, the $1,750 a month for a full-time, 40 hours a week virtual assistant. And then at the end of the 90 days, there's no contract anymore, and it's month to month. And the reason we're able to literally not charge you the $1,997 to get going with the virtual assistant, nor do we charge you the $997 or the $1,164 for the 90-day launch program and for access to Mod University, is because we're simply saying that, hey, if you move forward with a 90-day contract with us, if we deliver in the first 30 days on finding you the right person, then we'll give you all these resources for free and work with you, but you got to give us a chance. You got to give us a 90-day runway to help you knock it out of the ballpark, okay? So the real question is this: is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time? Check this out. And look, if it doesn't even have what I've claimed today on this webinar, as you can see for yourself, it's going to pay for itself many, many times over, right? So again, you get a work-ready virtual assistant. You get the 90-day launch done with you. Mod University, you get access to Mod University, and so does your staff. And then you get 90 days of Sales Dialers for free, and you get 90 days of Agent Circle Prospecting for free. And all you have to do now is just go to MyOutDesk.com/sales, make a deposit of $297. and this starts the process for you. And then you get access to all your bonuses, the sales dialer, the three-line dialer system from Gary. You're going to get access to the agent circle prospecting, and you're going to get access to the 5 proven strategies and the 90-day launch and Mod University. You're going to get access to all of that once you've hired a virtual assistant, okay? And again, if we can't find you somebody in 30 days, no risk to you. We just give you your deposit back, and that's it, okay? By the way, if you have any questions or you feel like you need to talk to somebody about a little something extra, there's a number on the screen. You can dial that, and we have folks standing by to answer your questions now. So in wrapping up here, and then I'm going to give you the URL for your free gift, and then Gary and I are going to do live Q&A. You might be asking yourself, what's different today? Well, what's different about this is that from any other offer or any other opportunity out there when it comes to building your team is this. One, as you can see, right, there's a plan and a vision. There's getting the right person. Then there's the launch process, right? There's the 90-day launch plan. Then there's access to the mastermind. And then there's the free bonuses, the tool, and the resources for you to actually succeed with it, right? So there's a plan in place. Also, there's lots of options if you're not stuck. Look, if the first virtual assistant, for whatever reason, isn't working out, we'll swap them out for you. You don't got to deal with the firing process. You get access, the virtual assistant comes to you with access to 5 different proven strategies. That way, if one of them isn't going to work well in your market, there's 4 other ones to pick from, okay? By the way, the open house one works in just about every market from our experience. There's also a process for getting through this, right? There's a 90-day launch. There's everything that we've mapped out. There's your dedicated success coach. So you're going to get your hand held through this. You're not going to have to invest all kinds of hours into trying to make this work. You're not going to deal with overwhelm. There's a built-out process for you to get through this and get to the other side of 90 days with your business on an entirely new trajectory. And also there's proof that this works predictably, as you met Chris and you met Lisa, and as you can imagine why so many of the other big name and successful agents that I've introduced you to earlier, why they would work with us is because, well, we deliver on the goods, okay? So in final closing, this is what I want to say. If you want to ever achieve the business that you have a vision for, and you probably have this idea, right? You probably have an idea of exactly how much money you want to make. You probably have a vision for how you want your business to feel. You probably have a vision for how many clients you have. You probably have a vision for the kind of income you're making and the kind of lifestyle you're able to provide for yourself and your family, right, and your loved ones. You probably have a vision for the kind of impact you're able to make on friends, community, right, just kind of this life that you want to build, which you're probably working for so hard right now. I can tell you this from our experience here at MyOutDesk, seeing the big picture and seeing the behind the scenes of so many agents' businesses, you're going to have to build a team and hire like this now or later. But you're not going to get to where you want to get in real estate with a real business and a real asset without the right kind of team members and the team players in place implementing the right kinds of processes for you. It's just not going to happen, okay? And you're never going to build a business that provides you an awesome lifestyle if it's always dependent upon you as a real estate agent. It's going to completely take over your life. It's going to own your life, and your business is always going to be on a roller coaster. So if you want to kiss the real estate roller coaster goodbye, and if you want to say hello to predictability, stability, and a predictable listing machine, and just being able to also enjoy your life, then you're going to have to do it this way now or later, but you're going to have to do it. And from my perspective, we put together an amazing offer for you that you're not going to find better anywhere else with the business in a box to be able to start that today. So as a final offer to help you really see the value here, for the first 10 people who take action today, and I don't know how many people have already made the deposit, but for the first 10 people who did or will, you get access. If you don't have access to a CRM, you're going to get access to the RealVolve CRM free for 90 days. Now, this is a $267 value. It's $89 a month. You can go to their website and check it out, right? Just like with sales dialers and agent circle prospecting costing real money. For the first 10 people who take action today, you're going to get access to RealVolve CRM for free for 90 days when you hire a virtual assistant, so that your virtual assistant can have that as well to help drive value and success and outcomes for your business, along with the free sales dialer, along with the free access to agent circle prospecting, and along with access to the 5 proven strategies, and also with the launch process, okay? So get started now for just a $297 deposit. Go to myoutdesk.com/sales. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, no risk to you. The URL for the free gift is myoutdesk.com/launch. You can go there now to download our best scripts, tools, templates, and practices for attracting the right talent, hiring them, what's the best hiring process, and then what's the best onboarding process. And that again is myoutdesk.com/launch. Okay, go there for your free gift and go to myoutdesk.com/sales to take advantage of this offer and this opportunity right now, and be able to also get the limited bonuses. Again, the first 30 people who take action today, you get the free sales dialer. First 20 people who take action today, you get access to Agent Circle prospecting for free for 90 days. Now, for the first 10 people who take action today, you get access to the RealVault CRM free for 90 days. And again, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee for you for the deposit, so there's absolutely no reason to not at least just get in the queue, start the process, and get going with it, okay? And it's just a simple $297 deposit. With that, let me go ahead and unmute Gary, and then I'm going to open up for Q&A. So Gary, I'm gonna unmute you right now, and then let's get going on the Q&A. And Gary, you are unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, great. Yeah, I can.
Awesome, and we can hear you. So I'm going to go through some questions right now, and I'm going to answer them real quick. Robert asks, or Josh asks, is it available in Canada? Our virtual assistants are certainly able to help in Canada. Gary, is SalesDialers.com and Agent Circle Prospecting available in Canada?
Yes, it is. It is available in Canada. There's no issues there. So we have a lot of clients in Canada who use our solution.
Awesome. David says, is this program open for other industries? I'm in the insurance business. You can take, yes, David, you're going to take advantage of this. We have clients in a lot of different industries. This webinar was mostly catered towards real estate agents, as you saw. But the idea of using a virtual assistant to implement revenue producing opportunities for you, processes and systems, and the tools and resources are there and available for you to get access to as well, even if you're not a real estate agent. Jesse asks, deposit meaning more money in a few weeks, why deposit? I think I've answered that question, but again, you make a real world deposit now of $297 so that we can get the process started for you. And honestly, the deposit for us is just a way to know that your strong intent and high probability, that you really mean business to want to grow your business. But it comes with a full money back guarantee if we don't find somebody for you in the first 30 days. If we find somebody for you in the first 30 days, you can go ahead and hire them, and then it's just $17.50 a month for a full-time virtual assistant, 40 hours a week. And that's just a flat fee, all in. You don't have any other medical benefits or insurance costs or employment costs or anything like that. This is a flat fee per month for them. Andy asks, I already have a sales dialer 3-line system. Well, that's awesome. I'm happy that you have that. We're just making this available to new clients. Then Rami asks, is it available in Quebec, French-speaking assistant? Rami or Rami, however I would pronounce your name, we do not provide any, we are not providing any French-speaking assistance at the time. We're providing English-speaking assistance. Okay, let's see. Any other questions, guys, that are coming in? Tom asks, do you have a strategy for contacting FSBOs and expires that comply with state laws? Because in New York, only assistants with a real estate license are permitted to prospect. I'd definitely sign up, but this seems to be my obstacle. That's a great question, Tom. One is that you can get your virtual assistant licensed if that's something that you want to take to the next level. But the other option there is that they can implement a lot of the revenue producing strategies for you that I've shared with you, the 5. A lot of them without necessarily contacting clients or prospecting FSBOs and expires. But with that said, yes, if your state laws are such that you can only have assistants with a real estate license to prospect, then you obviously want to make sure that they're licensed, and that's just something you can do on a case-by-case basis for your team. And then, of course, you can check the laws in your state for whether they can just simply call and invite somebody to an open house, because they're not talking about buying or selling real estate. They're just inviting somebody to an open house. But again, I'm not offering legal advice, and if I were you, I would just check on that myself to see what I could do in my state. You can also contact the number on the screen, 1-800-583-9950. And chat with somebody in our company about being able to better understand that and what the options are or opportunities are for your state or for your country, because we have clients in all 50 states, so we could be able to share with you the best practices for what's working for our clients in that state. Okay, So you can call 1-800-583-9950. You can also make the deposit, and we can get you started that way as well. Again, it's refundable. John says, same issue here in Canada. Well, I just answered that question. Michael asks, will this be appropriate for someone starting out in real estate? From my perspective, if you don't have a decent amount of GCI going, at least $150,000 to maybe $200,000 a year, this might be a little bit more than you need with a full-time virtual assistant. But if you already have good GCI work running, or if you have a strong budget in place, then this is something you can certainly take a look at. Tom says, yes, I agree that will work, and I think circle prospecting would work. Yeah, Tom, I do agree with you. That can work. It's all about what are they talking about, right? Now, again, I'm not giving legal advice. Check with your local MLS rules, your state laws, etc. All I'm saying is that when somebody's just calling when your VA, when I say is calling to invite somebody to an open house, there's a difference between inviting somebody to an open house and then necessarily calling about buying or selling real estate. But if I were you, I would check my laws in my state. And again, you can get the process started with us right now with the deposit because it's refundable, right? It's guaranteed. And then meanwhile, you can just double check all the rules in your state, and then also we can check for best practices for you with some of our other clients. Gary, Keith asks, can this work towards loan prospecting and follow-up to proposals being sent or have already sent? So with the virtual assistant, absolutely. This is one of the smartest ways that loan officers and mortgage brokers are using virtual assistants with us today, is to take care of that entire follow-up process, which is where a lot of that money, the revenue's at and the fulfillment is at, certainly. Gary, I want you to share a little bit about what's possible for loan officers and their teams with the Sales Dialer system.
Sure. So the question was, how does Sales Dialers work with loan officers? Is that correct?
Yeah, he's specifically asked, how does this work towards loan prospecting and follow-up to proposals being sent over or have already been sent? But I just wanted you to also share share a little bit about what's possible when you have somebody on your team with a Sales Dialer inside a loan company.
Sure. So we also have another company called Sales Data List, and this might be better for you, the gentleman who asked the question. Sales Data List, you can pull in-depth information on leads. So you get like net worth, whether or not they have investments or things like that. That's our other company, salesdatalist.com. It's not really geared toward realtors. That's why we didn't bring it up on the webinar. But Sales Data List does have that information, whether or not they have investments or 401ks or things like that. So yes, sales is a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more pitches you get out. The more pitches you get out, the more sales you have. So for a loan officer, you can run credit scores on people or people with certain credits, people that are renting. I would start with those, put those right into Sales Dialers, and then start calling and prospecting.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, and Keith said he actually already has a Sales Dialer system already, so I guess he already knows the value of that, but probably helps everybody else on the call to be able to imagine what's possible there as well. And again, from the virtual assistant side, Keith, this is definitely something that the virtual assistants you can use to follow up. I mean, we provide let me just go through some of the things that our virtual assistants do. They're transaction coordinators. They're client coordinators. They are marketing assistants. They do listing input. They do social media marketing, right? They can do all the follow-up process and the implementation process and the promotion process for like the open house strategy, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so on and so forth. So anything to do with follow-up around providing follow-up on your loan docs or your loan proposals, Keith, definitely possible. Brandon asked, can I get a recording of this call? I think we're going to put together a recording, and I've been recording, and I think we're going to send it out, so I think that should be possible, Brandon. Let's see here. John asks, do I have to provide the scripts for the VA? Also, how do I track how many calls the VA is making? I used a VA in my city, and although I contracted for 40 calls per day, she was only making 10 to 15, so I canceled. I would expect at least 4 appointments per month on the low side. John, what a fantastic question. Let me answer that for you in detail. One is this. Most of our the most successful clients that we have provide the script that they usually like their team to use. Meaning like this, some people have a Mike Ferry script, some people have, a Tom Ferry script, some people have, a John Galtieri script. There's all kinds of scripts, right? A Craig Proctor script. There's all kinds of sales scripts out there. And oftentimes the script itself is about matching the culture of the organization, of your team, right? We have one client where she hired an ISA with us, and then she complained that the ISA was being too aggressive, right? Going for the sale too much, trying to go for the appointment too fast, not building up the relationship as much because she was having the ISA prospect a high-end neighborhood. So there was a challenge where we had to kind of rein it in a little bit and dial it back a little bit, which is really unusual. But hey, you know what? It happened, okay? So the scripts itself, you want to provide the kind of script that you want to have run on your behalf. With that said, a lot of most of our virtual assistants do have access to and come with standard script training around, how to prospect an expired, how to prospect a FISBO, what to say when inviting to the open house, as you can imagine, right? We've got all that. But again, it might not be exactly what you want. So that's where this dedicated success coach works with you and the VA to make sure that you're getting what you want. Now, for how do I track how many calls the VA is making? With that, with what we have there is we have a client portal where you're literally able to track the hours and the effort of everything that your virtual assistant is doing through an online work portal. To my knowledge, no other virtual assistant company in the real estate space is providing that or is able to provide that. And we have a software for that. By the way, Gary, talk a little bit about the tracking capability for SalesDialers.com so that somebody like John could see what his virtual assistant is doing just from a data perspective.
Sure. So you can log into the manager account through Sales Dialers and see exactly how many calls they made, how many people they talked to, how many voice messages were left, how many calls were not connected. So there's a full tracking module inside of Sales Dialers where you can tell if your VA if they said that they only made 30 phone calls today and you log in and they didn't log in at all or they only made 10, you can track that and hold them accountable. So that's one of the cool features. Also, you can enable call recording inside of Sales Dialers, and what happens then is you can actually listen to all of the recordings that your VAs are making. So that's a neat tool as well. That way you can listen to what they're saying and make sure that they are making those phone calls.
Awesome. So that answers your question there, John, about being able to do tracking, right, and being able to see what's happening. Now, John, I think this is so perfect for you also because I totally agree with you that you can expect at least 4 appointments per month on the low side. Now, I'm going to give you a stat of one of our clients right now, and I'm not promoting this as the baseline. But I do want to show you. I do want to share with you something that's possible. So one of our clients that you met earlier, Tristan Ahumada, who's also the founder of Lab Code Agents, he has actually multiple virtual assistants with us. But one of his virtual assistants is an ISA, and they've been working together for a while now. So they've really gotten to a groove. She understands the market really well, right? They've kind of worked out the scripting that Tristan really likes. She, on average, sets 1 appointment a day for him. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that that's what your experience is going to be with your hire right away, nor am I going to say, I'm not promising that that's going to be the outcome in the first 90 days. But what I am saying is that we provide the kind of talent that is capable of growing into that and doing that. So when you say that you want to expect at least 4 appointments per month on the low side, I'm saying that I'll say is not difficult at all for us to provide. So between the tracking that we provide through our client portal, between the full automated tracking and accountability that Gary is able to provide through SalesDialers.com, and then just through the quality of the virtual assistants that we place and the process that we have in place for that, I just don't see how you could go wrong with this. And again, to get started is risk-free. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions here. Brandon says, thank you, I'm a mortgage broker and I want to offer this to my real estate agents. Yeah, we have some clients where they do, they split the cost with their loan officer on this, right? And then what they do is that they kind of have a marketing service agreement, an MSA, or whatever you've got going for you, Brandon. But we've got an opportunity where we do that, and it's just simply about splitting the costs or however you want to do it, whatever is legal in your state and your laws. I'm not going to again answer any questions about that right now, but this is certainly possible to do that. We have clients who are doing that, so you can make the deposit now and get somebody started, and then go out to your real estate partners and say, hey, let's split the cost on this virtual assistant. Let's get them doing this. Let's get them using a sales dialer and agent circle prospecting. Let's start doing this open house thing. Let's implement these other strategies. And let's start, splitting the pie of whatever we produce. I think that's very smart, and I think that's the right kind of thinking. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Keith asks, good to go. I can go back and online and look at all this again. Would love to revisit the whole thing. Are there webinars on a regular basis? We typically do have webinars on a regular basis. They rotate. Typically, it's every Thursday. I will say for you this, if you want to take advantage of all the resources and bonuses, Keith, if you haven't made the deposit, you want to make the deposit now, because once the limits that I've set are real. I know that you guys are used to, maybe different pitches online where people set a limit and it's all scarce. The limits we set are real because there's real onboarding and implementation that's required. Like when we have people come on board and then we got to set them up with SalesDialers.com, that's a manual process for us to then share that with Gary's company, and then Gary's company's got to get that all set up. And then we actually are splitting the hard cost with Gary and SalesDialers.com on the back end. So we make that free for you for 90 days, but we're splitting the hard cost on that on the back end. That costs us money. So that's why we make the bonuses limited, and there's a very real limit to that, because we've got to control our hard costs around splitting hard costs on these different bonuses, and then getting you guys set up with SalesDialers.com, with AgentCircleProspecting.com, with RealEvolve, right, if you take advantage of that, etc. Well, Gary, I think those are all the questions that we're having now, so I'll turn it over to you to make any wrap-up comments or thoughts or perspectives that you've had throughout the webinar, or just anything you want to encourage folks with, and then I think we're going to wrap it up, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, what a great webinar that was. I love the part where you can pick your own marketing approach. So I love that. You can pick your marketing strategy and have that VA actually start working for you on that marketing strategy. That is so cool. I've never seen that, and I'm so glad that Andre was on this webinar with us, and he informed us about this. We're really excited about our partnership with MyOutDesk, and we know that it's a win-win situation for everybody. It's a win-win situation for sales dialers. It's a win-win situation for MyOutDesk, and most importantly, it's a win-win situation for the realtor. So we're really excited about it. If you guys have any questions regarding that, let me go ahead and tell you our number. Our phone number is 800-662-4009 if you have any questions whatsoever about our product. And of course, Andre's already shared the phone number for MyOutDesk. So I don't think there's anything else. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. And if you have interest at all, do start that deposit, just like Andre said, because that is something that we have to get set up manually, and it is a limited time offer. So Andre, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Thank you to everybody. Be well, take care, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.